Hey guys, sorry I can't be here to go over this with you, but it really should be review. So I'm just going to go through it with you, and you need to make sure you have your notes complete and then do your homework. We'll go over it next week. I will tell you right now, you're going to have a quiz next Thursday. Okay, so a week from today, you will have a quiz. It will cover this, but we'll go over it on Monday and make sure you don't have any questions. So the topic today is parallel lines. Parallel lines are any lines that will never intersect. Doesn't matter how long they go on, forever and ever, they will not cross. Okay, a transversal is a line that intersects two or more lines. So a lot of times what we'll have is two parallel lines and then a line that crosses them, and we call that line that crosses them the transversal. Okay, so here I have a little bit of notation to make sure you understand something. When I have two parallel lines, there's a space in between them, right? That we call the interior. That makes sense. Between them, it's inside. And then there's a space outside of them that we call the exterior. Okay, so you need to know that. And there's a couple other words we'll go through as we go over this lesson. All right, so over here we've got two parallel lines. They look parallel. We can't tell for sure that they're parallel, but if we have these arrows on them, then we will know they are parallel. So we put in those arrows, or someone puts them in for us, and we know that the lines are parallel. So M and N are our parallel lines. This will be our transversal. All right, now when I have two parallel lines and a transversal, there will be 8 angles formed, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 4 of them are up at the top, 4 of them are up at the or down at the bottom. If we circle up the ones at the top and we circle up the ones at the bottom, and we look for an angle at the top and then an angle at the bottom, and it's in the corresponding spot or location, then those will be what we call corresponding angles. Okay, so corresponding angles are basically in the same position. Okay, relative to one of the parallels and the transversal. Okay, so let's look at this. Up there in the top circle, if I highlight angle 1, notice angle 1 is in the upper left corner of that circle, correct? If we look at the picture like this, here's angle 1, that's the upper left corner. Now we go down to the bottom, the angle that's in the bottom circle, but still upper left corner, is angle 5. Okay, so angles 1 and 5 are in the same place within their circle, so they are corresponding. Alrighty, then we have angles 2, and its corresponding is 6 because they're both in the upper right corner of that circle. Okay, then continuing, make sure we complete these circles. Angle 3 is in the bottom left, and angle 7 is in the bottom left, so they're corresponding. Those are little and signs in between there, guys. It's like this for an and sign in between the angle numbers. Alrighty, and then we have one last pair. Angle 4 is in the bottom right, and angle 8 is in the bottom right. Okay, so those are corresponding angles. Now, if you were to think about this on a piece of paper, and you were to slice right through there and pick up the bottom piece, put it on top of the upper piece, they would match up, right? That's what it means. They correspond. They're corresponding angles. Well, not only would they be in the same position, but they would also be congruent. Okay, and remember that means the same measure, right? And the symbol for congruence is that little equals with a tilde on top. All right, next pair of special angles are alternate interior. Okay, so interior we've already talked about. So these are going to be angles in the blue space. So 3, 4, 5, 6. It's going to be some of those angles. And alternate means opposite. So if they are alternate, then they're on opposite sides. Alternate means opposite sides of the transversal. That's what the alternate's for. Interior means between the parallel lines. All right, so which would those be? Well, angle 3 is on the inside. Which angle is opposite or on the opposite side of the transversal? Well, you might think 4, but no, that's a different pair. Remember, that's a linear pair. It's going to be 6. So 3 and 6. And then the other pair, also on the inside there, is 4. It's on the right, 5 is on the left, so they're my other pair of alternate interior. And it turns out they are also congruent. Okay, then we've got alternate exterior. So our alternate exterior means opposite sides of the transversal. That's the alternate part. And then outside the parallel lines. So angle 1 is outside and it's on the left. So angle 8 is the one on the right. And then do that again. Angle 2 is on the outside on the right. Angle 7 is on the outside on the left. And these are also congruent. Okay, and then finally, same side interior. So same side interior, first of all, they have to be interior. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but now they're going to be on the same side. Okay, so the same side of the transversal. And again, between the parallel. And so angle 3 is on the inside, and on the same side of that one is angle 5. Angle 4 is on the inside, and on the same side is angle 6. Now, these angles are not congruent, so let's see if we can figure out what they are. If we go through and we start highlighting all the angles that are congruent, we'll start with angle 1. It is congruent to angle 4 because they are vertical. 4 is congruent to angle 5 because they're alternate interior, and then 5 is congruent to 8 because they're vertical. So we've got these 4 angles are all going to be congruent. Notice they're corresponding, right? And then let's see what's going on between 1 and 2. 1 and 2 are a linear pair. Remember, linear pair, adjacent and supplementary. So they're not congruent, but they do add up to 180. So angle 2 will be congruent to 3 because they're vertical. 3 will be congruent to 6 because they're alternate interior. And then 6 will be congruent to 7 because they're vertical. And now we have this pretty color-coded little picture, which will help you anytime you're trying to find your angles. Because the blue ones are equal, the green ones are equal, and if you put a green, oops, didn't want that. If you put a green with a blue, you get 180. So if you color code them like I just did, you can figure out what their relationship is for each one of them. I think that's helpful. So these down here are supplementary. They're not congruent, they're supplementary. 3 and 5, see, they're different colors. 4 and 6 are different colors, so they're supplementary. And if you think about it this way, same side or supplementary, that will help you. All right, so let's run through a little bit about what kind of questions you're going to be asked. So you're going to be asked to tell me what kind of angles you have. So let's see how you do that. The first thing we do is I would decide if they're interior or exterior. And number one, notice one's interior and one's exterior. So that means they're not interior angles, they're not both exterior angles. So that must mean that they possibly are corresponding. Let's check. That's upper right, that's upper right. Yes, corresponding. Okay, and that was where one was interior and one was exterior. Number two, notice these are both interior, so we can write that down. And then you need to see if they're alternate or same side. They're both on the left, so they're same side. Number three, these are also interior, but they're on opposite sides. One's on the left, one's on the right, so they're alternate interior. And number four, they're both exterior, and one's on the left and one's on the right, so they're alternate. Okay, so you need to be able to do that. Here's a couple more examples. Number one, one's interior, one's exterior, but they're both upper left, so they're corresponding. Number two, they're both interior, but they're on opposite sides, so they're alternate. All right, so what else do you need to be able to do? You need to be able to use the relationships I just told you to find measures of angles. So if you look at number three, notice these two angles are same side interior. What do we say about them? They add up to 180. So that's how you're going to figure out the measure of number three. The 122 plus the question mark has to equal 180. You need to do these, guys, on your own and fill them in. This will be part of your notes. These need to be filled in for your notes points. Number four, we got this angle up here and this one down here. These are alternate exterior, which are congruent, so that should make that problem pretty quick. Number five, these are corresponding. This one is 90. This one is 11x plus 13. Corresponding are equal. So you're going to set those two equal to each other. 90 equals 11x plus 13. And in number six, these are alternate interior. Alternate interior are equal. So you're going to set those equal to each other and solve for x. And then plug it back in so you can figure out the measure of the angle. All right, you keep doing that. We get down here to number 7. These are same side interior. So they're going to add up to 180. So you're going to take these two and add them up, set them equal to 180. But they want you to find the measure of the bold one. So notice that one's the bold one. So plug in x to find its measure. And then over here, these are alternate exterior. So these are going to be equal. So you're going to set these two equal to each other. And then you have to plug in what you get for x into that expression to figure out the measure of that angle. I know it's those because it says the bold one, and those are the ones that were bold. And then this last two, same idea, just figuring out what special pair they are and what the measure goes for the question mark. Okay, so all of the notes had to be filled in, and then you have to do this homework, and we will go over it all next week before your quiz, which is Thursday. So today, right now, when you're finished, you're going to copy into your notes, but you're going to notice I don't have answers for these you tries. You need to figure those out. Then you also need to do the homework. That's what you need to do during class time. And then I will be checking it. All right, take care. Bye-bye.